What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and today we're taking a look at the MakeToys Remastered number 8 Despotron, but you may know him better as the one and only Megatron. And this is the MakeToys take on Megatron here, and he has a lot of things that really work well, and he's got some things that I think could have used a little bit of extra care and detail here. That said, he comes out of the box in robot mode, and he is a stunning version of Megatron without a doubt. Now, right off the bat though, this kills me. It looks like it's a different shade of silver. It might just be kind of because it sits at a different angle. You'll notice mine even has a little scratch there. Probably from trying to get it down to transform it for robot mode, and I've only, or his gun mode I should say, and I've only transformed it once. And I didn't use anything outside of nails, so that's a little bit sad. And the fact that it just kind of, the way the chest breaks up here, I'm not a big fan of. I think DX9 did a better job with the chest and maybe the head, but I think that that's where DX9 ends on being the better toy. Oh yeah, and the cannon. The cannon here, it's fine. It doesn't bother me until I saw DX9's where it collapsed. Part of me hopes that maybe somebody will come along and just make a cannon for him that will collapse like DX9. That'd be real cool. Also, as you have seen there, the back cannon on mine, super loose. It just rotates right on there real easy. Yeah, could have used a little extra tightening or something in that joint. It's just a little mushroom peg there, and it just doesn't quite work right on mine. It's weird. So yeah, would have liked to have had that be a little bit more solid. You can kind of fold it in a little more, which kind of helps because you get the gun body kind of holding it in place. But at least where it seems like it's supposed to go, it kind of wobbles a little bit for me. Now, one thing I really do like, right on the feet, they've already gone ahead and given some rubber on the bottom, which makes them sit real nicely on most shelves. I have heard some people have had loose ankles. Mine are not terribly loose. I can move them easily, but they don't move on their own, so not a problem there. So let's look at the head here. He does have that iconic, Megatron eyebrow. He's got nice red metallic eyes on there, which really, when the light catches them, gives them a nice appearance of being alive. Nice detailing on there. Head is on a swivel and a rotation there. I don't actually know, it's a ball joint. Didn't think it was a ball joint, but it is. Nice little detailing there on the neck, something they certainly didn't have to do, but it does add a little something. You can replace the head by taking the helmet straight off and unplugging his face, leaving it just like that. I suppose you could give it to Optimus Prime for his face collection. And he does come with 3 different faces. We'll go through them real quick here. You got the smirk. And just kind of, for quick reference, we're not going to plug that all the way in. It's okay. I don't know. I don't really like terribly emotive faces. They're nice to have options. You have the kind of like, it's like maniacal laughter, so to speak, but it actually, to me, ends up looking more like the Joker. Just because you do have, like, the smile is not symmetrical. So it looks more Joker-like to me. Now, it also was not painted very well. It was a very light, a light gray on here. So much so that it almost was indistinguishable from the teeth. I've gone ahead and hit it with some black paint just to kind of really make it pop a little better. And the last face we have here is the angry looking face. And it looks good. I mean, it's okay. It's as good as emotive faces go, if you ask me. So moving on with the articulation here, you can slide these together if you like that. If you don't like the black showing, they can be apart. He gets pretty decent range of motion out of his shoulders here when that's all said and done. It is a ratcheted connection, something that I think Apollyon could have used. You do have the bicep swivel, you have the elbow, just a single, but I like how they have extra material in here So when you don't have it necessarily super extreme, it really still feels like it makes sense to me. It's only when you get the full 90 that it ends up looking a little weird, but I think it's okay. Wrist rotation, the fingers here are all together with the exception of the trigger finger, which is weird because there is no gun accessory with him. I have not tried like the Megatron that came with like MP Starscream might fit in there. He does have like a slotted channel in here, but nothing he needs the trigger finger for at this point. Coming down to the waist, I thought you had a waist swivel here, but I guess not. Just afraid to kind of do it and have something end up breaking here. Like, see, it looks like it's got a waist swivel. You know what? We're gonna try it and we're gonna see what happens. Oh, I really don't like that. Like, it swivels, but I really don't like it. I don't know if it's just very stuck or what. I probably won't be utilizing it. It's scary. It's very scary. Coming down to these flaps here, I don't think they're so bad, but I wish they did something better with these, for lack of better terms, butt flaps. They do kind of hide his obnoxious nothingness going on back there, but they're also terribly in the way of any leg articulation here. Speaking of his leg articulation, and we can put these up and out of the way. Same for the front flaps here. Nice ratcheted joint here, again limited by this kibble here we've got here. Ratcheted to the side, a slight thigh swivel here. It does get hung up as it hits the end here. I guess if we bring it all the way around, we could get a 360 out of it. Just beware that some things do get in the way of other pieces. Coming down to the knee here, we do have, looks like a double jointed knee for plenty of articulation here at the top and at the bottom. Just fine out of there. Coming down to the leg, you already kind of saw the toe working. It does have some forward and back on it. And then of course you have whatever you need to kind of make the heel spur work. So overall, this guy is very, very capable of getting into some pretty decent poses from what I've seen. And remember, you know, I am not your world's best articulator, I guess is the word that I'm looking for, because I am definitely not the type of person who's posing my Megatron on a shelf, whoops, dropping things on the floor, in any super meaningful way. But I've seen this guy pull off, like, you know, your Iron Man pose that everybody likes to do, and he works just fine. He's got real good articulation for a Megatron. So one thing that also bothers me is the asymmetry here, and you need it for how it transforms. But I do find myself wishing, since these hip skirts are on this, and then they're on, like, well, one of them is on this joint that can go back like this, and the other one's not. It actually goes forward for the transformation. I find myself kind of wishing, due to the way these kind of sit in place, that these were on a ball joint. Like, it just feels like you should be able to rotate these out of the way, but you're not going to be able to do that without actually messing up this connection. I think a ball joint, it wouldn't be ideal, but I think it would allow you to get the hip skirts out of the way in kind of a more meaningful manner, in my opinion. So for accessories, he also comes with the Energon mace, and I've never tried putting this on. I'm not sure how they want us to. I'm going to assume that we end up folding this away. And I don't know if they have a specific hand that this has to go on, but let's go ahead and try this one first. Nope, not going to go on that hand from what I see, so let's go ahead and fold this back out again. Oops, gotta rotate that back. There we go. Alright, close that up. Let's try his other hand and see if we have any luck there. Take this off just for ease of use here. And let's find the actual way this hand opens. There we go. And it looks like this is gonna end up doing the trick, I think. Rotate this away, rotate this closed. You can do it, Fist. I believe in you. I will say, this Fist is not easy to do. And there's a couple things on here that I feel like need some kind of tabs to really make things easy. So there we go. Okay, we got the Fist away. And we get this, and I guess it slides right in like that. Yep, that's how it goes. That works. Got the mace, a nice chain. If that's an accessory you like using, if you like displaying your Optimus Prime with his axe, and you like Megatron with the flail, you certainly have that option. So since we were speaking of Optimus Prime, we'll bring him in, and you can see they're about the same size. I think I would like my Megatron just a little taller, but I think it's okay. Actually, maybe, there we go, maybe if we, I think we push the legs down a little there. There we go. Now Megatron maybe looks like he's just a smidge taller, and I think that still looks good. They look great right next to each other. And since many people ran out and grabbed him because he was our first real legitimate MP10 size Megatron available, here he is next to Apollyon. You can see he sits a little bit taller than Apollyon. A lot a bit better in the legs with how they clip together. But I don't know if I necessarily think the chest here, you know, is better than this. I'm sure you got the doors on the side, but you don't have the breakup on the bottom. The ab area, I think, is definitely better on this Megatron, at least this part. The sides, maybe not quite as much. I think I like that styling a little better. The big difference to me is the waist. You got like that H waist going on here. This is a little bit more natural. And as you come down to the feet, the thighs in the pictures, they don't look as bad as they seem to in the pictures. Polyons are a little more elongated. I think maybe they actually look better for this Megatron, the thicker ones. And the legs down to the feet, I think, are just like no contest. Apollyon versus the Despotron. I think Despotron just knocks it out of the park there. Especially when you get to the back. I think it's really, really neat how all this stuff kind of fills in the leg to make it solid. As opposed to like a mess like that. And we're not going to show this Megatron in his gun mode. I just don't want to do it. So let's try to get Megatron here to his gun mode. We'll start by taking this off because we don't need it till the very end. And we'll undo this. Also, one thing I wanted to note before we go on. There's no LED feature or anything. You actually can see right through this gun. The little knobs on top are held in but loose, so you can turn them just like you would take those little caps off your scope to adjust them. Nice little feature. I don't think you need an LED feature in every Megatron cannon here. But anyway, we got his arm here. We take this piece, we unplug it and rotate it up. This piece comes forward like this. We can rotate this to the side. This kind of goes in. This all plugs together, and then you close this down on that side and you plug it in over there. We're going to basically do the same thing for the other side. We open this piece up down here like so. You have to flip this little piece out to give the little trigger the ability to come through. You can close that back up, close that, and then flip this trigger around so it's actually at the top with the sights here. Next, we're going to go ahead and open this piece up. The arm, we want to twist it and bring it in like so. And then that's also going to plug in right at the top. And then this piece here is going to come forward and seal this. And you can see I've gotten some scratches here. Again, this is not really through transformation. I've only done it one time prior to this, and this is just, you know, he's just been sitting around on the shelf. Nothing's really been going on. So I do think this paint is rather easy to scratch. but I don't think that it's ultimately that big of a deal. So now we're going to come around to the back here. We're going to bring these, and these kind of clip in to make more of the gun, like so. Now we're going to take this, extend it all the way up, and bring it around, and it's going to peg right into there to go ahead and make the whole barrel of the gun here. Just like that. Weird that they put the P38 here, and considering that this is like the shoulder pad, I kind of wish they put the P38 on this side too. It's not like you'd really see it in robot mode, but kind of bothers me where the gun is concerned. So the upper half of the robot is done. We're going to come to the feet here, and these will push in. It looks like I already did that on the one side in the process. There's the other side, and rotate these little pad pieces right back in. This whole thing kind of compresses up into here, like so. And now we're going to come to the back here, get this piece to swivel down, and this piece here, bring that open. And this can be a little bit difficult to get out. You kind of have to grab it from here so it rotates down and all the way out. And you're just going to kind of leave this sitting out here like so. So from here, what you want to end up doing is rotate the thighs 90 degrees like this. And that's going to actually, you can see the tab here is going to kind of plug in like this. And then you can take these, and I think it's actually easier to do this beforehand. Go ahead and compress them down. And while you're at it, before you get too far, because sometimes you need to kind of get this stuff out of the way, make sure this piece in the front is out, because they do tell you at like the last step to go ahead and pull that out. And if you didn't have it out earlier, it's virtually impossible towards the end. So with this out like that, we can actually unfold the grip here on both sides. Make sure that it goes around like that, and then everything's going to kind of plug in here. Come back to the other side here. This grip folds out. Make sure it gets past the front part of the grip, which can be a little difficult. And that should all just plug in nice and solidly, just like so. So now we're going to kind of get to where every MP style Megatron has a problem, and that's where we try to make this part meet the handle. So like some of them that come before them, you're going to unfold this like that. This piece here will flip, the little piece here will flip in. You see, I don't even really need my nails, so I don't even know how that piece ended up getting the scratch there. And then this piece here kind of pops forward and down, just like so. So you got that going on. The next thing that we're going to do is disconnect the middle section here like that. And they tell you to kind of hold this trigger here out of the way, because what you need to do, hopefully you can do it, it's a little tough. You want to kind of hold this and then flip this piece around. And I find that it's also useful at this stage to flip the trigger guard around into the right position. And it gets out of the way good enough that I don't really think that it's a problem to do it now. So the next thing to do, and it's probably kind of happened to you while you were doing this, is that this needs to slide all the way forward like so, and you have this tab here and this tab here, which should clip in just like that. So I have to keep going back and filming some things because he kind of wants to do what he's supposed to do on his own. The next part is to bring this part down and around. And there's also, I always forget about this little part right here. You want to swing this little black piece forward, and that's gonna, basically you can see how it's gonna plug in there. So now it's a matter of getting this stuff out of the way. So we start by bringing this up and down like that, and this little black piece here goes to the other side. So his crotch should pretty well be flat right here. So what we want to do from here is, and this part I find very difficult, this tab is going to go into here, and this tab is going to go into here, and it will click, and I get it stuck like this quite a lot. It doesn't seem like it wants to go, and I have to mess with it a little. And there it goes. It clicked, and it clicked. So that's as easiest as it's ever gone for me here. So that was a good thing. I'll take that. I'm not going to complain. So now, this piece here, you see, you had to bring this all the way up. This trigger guard kind of goes into here, just like so. This piece here can fold closed. This piece here can slide back. And now we're going to get to this, and this was very difficult the first time, getting this piece open. You can see there's a room to put something in there. I used a pair of tweezers, not the part that I'd scratched both ends, the reverse side, and kind of pried it open. And Megatron's head is going to fit right in that socket. You want to point his head towards the gun barrel and flip this down. And I think that this is a big problem. There is no great way to get Megatron's head back out of this area. We're going to see when we go back if we can do that. But you can go ahead and close that, and then you can slide that piece all the way forward to kind of conceal that compartment and stuff. That's a real nice feature. I got to give them credit for that. So we'll come back here. We'll bring this up. We'll bring this up. And you can see we kind of are putting the whole gun together. Make sure that the back strap area is kind of contacting the top, and if it's not, your leg is probably not compressed enough. And we're going to go ahead and deal with these pieces. So we'll fold them all out like this, and now I'll just kind of get these into position, and it should peg into the little back strap area of your gun like so. And it should peg into that little piece that we brought up in the front. So it should look something kind of like this. And I feel like I have something just a little bit off, because the grip should come together a little bit nicer. There we go. And we'll come to this piece. Once again, bring this silver piece forward, and that silver piece is going to clip into this silver piece. So we got that. Make sure we get these panels around. I do believe that Megatron's grip is kind of a challenge for almost anybody out there. There we go. To make one that kind of smoothly works. And so that bar I showed you actually goes right, let's see if we can see it in the crotch here. There's like a little cutout here. If this is right, it should fit in there, and sometimes it does take a little bit of finagling to push it in there, which is really difficult to see. I wish I could offer you guys a better view of that, but once it's in there, that's going to allow this thing to kind of close up how it needs to be. You can plug that in, you can plug that in, you can plug this bottom one in, this top one in. Make sure everything is tight. Let's go back and look at this side because something doesn't feel right. Check our foot. And there we go. This is our Megatron in his gun mode. Just like so. And you go ahead and slide this on. I will say, not a big fan with how much this thing like hangs off of here. I don't know why they didn't make it, you know, a little bit bigger. But whatever, it doesn't affect anything. And this gun is huge. I've never seen a real gun this big, especially one that you know, only fires, I'm pretty sure it's a 38. It's either a 38 or a 9mm. I can't remember. I'm guessing 3.8 by the .38. This would be a huge 3.8 though. Yeah, it's very unwieldy. It's probably not going to be mistaken for a real gun, but you know, in this type of world, I still wouldn't recommend you taking it outside, running around like a crazy person with it. It barely fits in your hand. It's almost hard to pull the trigger. Like my finger's all the way extended forward. The trigger is on a spring. That's really all there is to say about the gun mode. It's nice. It's a very accurate representation of the gun it's supposed to be, just not the proper size. Now let me be honest with you. In the gun mode here, there's two things I think MakeToys could have done better. And it's not necessarily the transformation or the looks of the gun or the P38. I would have liked to have seen either these feet made out of die cast, so it had the weight to just sit on a desk like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. Or I wish they took a cue from Masterpiece Shockwave and gave some kind of like little clear stand that would just hold it like that. Now I'm sure somebody is going to come out there and make a 3D printed thing like I have for Quakewave, that you'll like sit this down and it'll hold this up. And that's cool and all. It's just like, it would have been a nice little extra mile type thing to have with the MakeToys. And I suppose could we do this? Is that gonna work? There we go. We've got Scraper holding up Megatron there. Also of note, before we take him back to the other mode, there doesn't seem to be any way that you would attach any of the the stock stuff on here. Not that I think you'd really want to anyway, but I don't see a way. You could always make the silencer and barrel if you wanted. This little strap here I think would have been nice if it had a little extra paint too. You already had so much silver. A little bit here wouldn't have hurt. It felt like at first that it was like an extra piece with how it's molded, but I'm 99.99% sure it is not. Would have been nice though. So let's get this guy back to his robot mode. Let's zoom out as much as we can. Yeah, he is a big gun. So we're gonna start by taking the gun off here. There we go. Did I say gun? I meant scope. My apologies. The next thing we're gonna do is go ahead and bring all this stuff back, disconnect it. Remember, it's connected in a number of different points. Both the bottom and the top. There we go. And that's scary a little bit. I mean, because it is such a small joint and you're applying torque on it, and it doesn't feel very safe. Feels like something's gonna happen to it. Disconnect this, disconnect that. Bring this back in, and we can leave that just like this. We'll leave these side panels open right now. Bring this piece, bring it down. Come over here, and we'll start with this side. Disconnect this, and get it on that swivel all the way around. Let's go ahead and drop this down, and I want to show you like this is the point where they want you to take it out, and there's nothing to grip there. There's no way you're getting that out of there. That's badly thought out in my opinion. Either it needed to be earlier in the steps, or there needed to be some kind of little tab that you could grab and pull up. And I think they could have made a little slot down here to plug it into so it was secure and you knew you had it right. But whatever, they didn't, so. Anything could always be made better, I suppose. So we're gonna take this, disconnect this from the sides here, and disconnect the back piece. All this stuff kind of collapses forward and then swings back. From here, we're gonna go ahead and pull this out just because we can, and we'll rotate this around. Pull this one down, rotate it around. Take this little black piece, bring it right back in and up. Take this, they tell you to kind of fold it in like this first, and then push it down and fold it up, and then fold that in. Take this piece, pull it down on both sides, flip out the heel spur. Well, let's actually open this up. I think it gives us better access to the heel spur. There we go. So open the front toe, better access to our heel spur. And we pretty well got his legs done. We're going to come to this top piece, slide it forward. We're going to get that open, and then we're going to struggle with this. We're absolutely going to struggle with this because you can kind of put a finger in this little ridge here, and you can kind of push on this, and I don't know about anybody else, but that's as far as I can get this to go. Yeah, and you kind of have to, like, his head has to shrug down to a side to clear things, and I don't know, it's very difficult to get out without the help of some other tool. See, we lost it again. Very difficult. So, if you're like me, and you've got your handy dandy little Hale Hasbro tool, just be careful you don't grate it or anything. But I like to kind of get in here a little, best I can, and come on. Really don't want to end up doing anything bad to this. There we go. Get in there and use your tool to kind of catch that groove and help you bring it around, and hopefully that'll give you something here that you can now hold on to. Maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe we just gotta keep going with the tool. There we go. That gave us enough to bring that around. Again, this could have either been looser, and I don't think looser would be a bad thing given that it locks in when this thing closes, or they could have given us a tab to make it work better. Either way, I think would have worked. As it is now, it's not great. You know, it's certainly not something that's going to make him like the worst Megatron you've ever seen or anything, but it's something that could have been improved upon. Let's take this and let's fold this over. Let's come to the back and slide this forward. And let's go ahead and break our gun, basically. Holding onto the legs, just kind of separate all this stuff out. While we have that done, we can bring this piece around, bring this piece over, bring this piece up, flip the other flap, and there's also an asymmetry there. Based on how this joint goes, this one actually does sit just a marginal bit lower than this. Not a game breaker, but something that if they cared, they probably didn't need it to be that way. So we can bring this around, and we're gonna disconnect the top of the gun here so this can slide. Once you kind of have all this, and let's bring the camera up there so we can see what's going on. Hold this trigger down, flip the trigger guard around, and bring this the proper way through, which I find to be this way. And your trigger guard should be coiled up like that. That should let it fit right back in the chest, and it should clip just in place. And then the trigger, you can see, is going to fit right in this cavity. So you can go ahead and clip all that down on both sides. And that really just kind of goes to show, let me go back to here, just how kind of, like, that is such a scary joint to work with. There we go. It seems like, there it goes, it's freeing up now. It's not so scary anymore. But I will say the first time what you guys saw was the scariest waist joint I've ever worked with here. So once we have that, bring these side panels around to the side, fold the butt flaps on in. So we got that. And let's go ahead and make sure, because this happens a lot. Whoops, not that. Let's make sure that our knees are here. These could have locked in a little bit better so he didn't slink down in his big thigh pads here quite so much. And now we're going to unplug the barrel here, which thankfully does not have the problems the DX9 one seems to be having. Bring this around, and this around, and this. And it looks like it should plug in real nice together, but that tab really does not secure into this very well. It's enough that it's not going to come loose, but it's not the greatest. Drop this down so it's the right height, and like I said, I put this all the way in, even though I kind of wish it was all the way flat, but you know, whatever, keeps the barrel from moving. Take this piece, fold this up, same thing on that side. So we're almost done, guys. I mean, he's really not difficult to transform. Harder to do on video than he is when you have them. Take them, separate those out, disconnect that panel here. Go ahead, flip this around to the other side, open that up, everything here should flip right on in, revealing his hand. We can close that again. There we go. And we'll close this panel here, which realize that it is on that double swivel here, and it should come around and plug in both at the top and the bottom. And there we go again. See, my thigh keeps collapsing on in. There really needed to be something that locked that in place. That just doesn't seem to be there. Small tweak, not a game breaker, but something they could have done. Take this, rotate this up, bring this down, open up the arm here. There we go. Bring this around, fold this right back in. And one thing that's weird about this is you got like these little, like, see the little pieces of material here at the top and the bottom, and you have those little channels, and they do need to be situated in a way that it lines up, and then like kind of the arm like twists a little to make it flush, and it kind of locks it in. It is a little bit odd, but it makes it look nice, I guess, so whatever. I think I forgot a piece here. I definitely forgot a piece. But you know what? I don't even think that with this all the way like that, I don't think that that chest looks terrible, and it eliminates that little thing there at the bottom. I've never noticed that. So we're gonna have to go back and fix that, but that's okay. Bring these down. Again, it should clip at the top and the bottom here. Now, you can choose, if you don't want to, you do not have to bring out the pieces of his gun. That's up to you. I actually think he looks better with them down. I might end up leaving mine like that. I don't know. Let's go back and fix this little mistake we made here. We want to, while this is disconnected, undo this chest so it comes up and over this piece here, and then this piece folds in. I mean, it's a little better on the chest, but I mean, this thing is a major detractor to me. You know, I'm having a real hard time figuring out which one I like better. I don't know. It's up to you. Officially, it goes like this, and then we put our gun right back on there. So overall, good job, MakeToys. You made an awesome Megatron. I hope you make more toys on this caliber. I think he's fun to transform. He looks good in both modes. I mean, you can't say that often about a Megatron. He's fun to transform. Most of them are not. I don't think he has too many fragility issues. There are some things I could think of. There's definitely some things that could be improved, as we pointed out. But he's good. He's a solid toy. Now, the big question that I think most people out there are asking, which one's better? So, hands down, without a doubt, the MakeToys one is better than Apollyon. He's got the better face. You know, we don't have those coon eyes going on over there. He's got kind of like better robot proportions than all the gun stuff. But I don't think if you have Apollyon, you necessarily need to be running out to buy the MakeToys Despotron. Couldn't think of his name for a second. yeah, I don't think you necessarily need to sell this guy to get this guy. If you are interested in transforming them back from robot to gun, probably get the MakeToys one. If you just want them standing on the shelf, I guess whichever one aesthetically you like better. I think there's things aesthetically about this guy I like better, and there's things aesthetically I like about this guy that look better. MakeToys is definitely the better toy, but if you've already made the investment on this guy, you don't necessarily need this one. So this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time. You know what? Before we go, if you look at Apollyon's chest, it actually comes down further than the MakeToys one. And the MakeToys one does feel a little bit high. And going back to that mistake that we had on here, I mean, we add a little bit of weirdness, I guess, at the top here. But I still don't know if I hate it when it's down like that, because since it gets rid of that bottom strip, I don't know. Anyway, T2RX6, I'll see you guys later.